I'm gonna tell you guys something that's probably gonna get me to lose a lot of followers, subscribers, and a lot of trust even. I might even lose potential clients or lose out on future growth here by saying this. But a lot of people really are just wimps. They don't actually try. They just live completely in their head. They never actually do anything in the real world, and they just live entirely in their own thoughts. All they think about is their own thoughts. They just live in this cycle of, planning and plotting and thinking and learning, but never truly doing, never truly executing, okay? And I've just been thinking about this a lot recently because that was absolutely me. About a year and a half ago, I was a lot like a lot of people I think on this channel who watch me, quite frankly. Where maybe you know a lot. You have a lot of knowledge about how to market, how to sell, how to do stuff. But then the actual execution of it is being left, up until when the perfect time comes, or when things line up, or whatever. Or maybe even you think that you're executing, but you're just not. And so in this video, I want to talk about how, just blind execution is so powerful. And this idea of plan, do, as opposed to do, plan, or think, do, instead of do, think, think. How that keeps people stuck in just cyclical poverty, okay? We live in, an age where information and ideas are commoditized. You can learn how to do anything. I can literally right now read a book or listen. I can listen to a 2-hour, sit down conversation from a billionaire, on a podcast, or I can, artificial intelligence I can ask it any question, it'll answer it for me. It could do any math I need it to do. It can source any information I need it to source for me. I can pay money to be in certain groups or to learn from certain people. And because of that, strategy is no longer really a unique differentiator in the marketplace. What really differentiates you in the market is becoming your ability to try and actually do. And when I say that, some actions that are actually doing is like talking to people over the phone and selling them something. Or it's like running paid advertising and actually putting money on the table and saying, I'm going to try and push this thing out there. Or it's taking clients and getting them results, doing things, moving things in the real world. But the problem is, so many people are waiting for the perfect thing to come along. Do you really think that I set out to do what it is that I do today? Do you think that 5 years ago I was like, oh, I'm going to plot and plan and become this? No, every year and a half or so the target kind of shifts, but I'm still moving. Let's take this analogy of two men on two speedboats. There's an island a mile out. You could see it just over the horizon. Two men on speedboats. One man is, the speedboat's kind of bumping on the water, and he's just kind of sitting there. Just kind of waiting until the speedboat lines up. But once it's lined up, he's totally ready to do it, but he's just kind of sitting there making sure that the boat is lined up and everything. There's another man, and he just hits the pedal. He just goes. He might not even go straight towards the island. He's kind of zig and zagging, and he's kind of, he goes a little left too much, a little right too much, and he even hits a wave and gets thrown a bit, has to turn back around and keep. Who do you think is going to get to that island first? Who do you think is going to get there first? It's certainly not going to be the guy who sits there and waits until his speedboat is aligned perfectly, because they might not be wise enough to understand that if you sit back here and you wait until it's lined up, even when you hit go, you're going to move. You're gonna go a little left. You're gonna go a little right. When you finally hit the gas pedal, that lining up that you did is gonna become irrelevant within seconds. And so, I'm sharing this because I just think it's such an important message, and it's one that has radically transformed my life. If right now, for example, you have financial goals with your business, and this is an example of actually doing. Okay, you don't have a profit and loss statement for your company, you don't project its revenue, and you don't have a personal net worth finance sheet. All your assets, all your liabilities on one sheet tells you what your net worth is. I have this. I track it weekly. I track my company and its profit and loss weekly. I track my net worth weekly. I should probably do it daily, but weekly's enough for me because, I don't know, I'm not moving up and down hundreds of thousands of dollars yet. I'm moving up and down tens of thousands of dollars a day. And so weekly's enough, I think, at the time. But that's an example of actually doing something. Saying, okay, I want to get to this net worth. Here's the things I have to do to get there. You know, I have a certain number in mind. By the time that I'm 30, I'm about to be 26. And by the time that I'm 30, I've got an idea in mind of the net worth that I'd like to have. I know exactly what I need to do with my other company, the Kingdom Closer Academy, and this business, which is quickly becoming dwarfed by the other business, which is amazing to me. I love that I can help other coaches or consultants or agency owners, and it's not my main thing. All these people out there, it's their main thing. They're not doing it in the real world. They're just telling you what to do. I'm actually over here doing it. You know, it's October 3rd when I'm filming this, and we're 3 days into the month. We've done $18,000 from the company, and that's about $12,000 in profit. Okay, 3 days into the month. And that business is actually scaling even further now. That's only with 2 sales reps that we've trained up. We've got 2 more. We'll have 4 placed into the business here in October, and I'd like to think that this month we'll do at the minimum $300,000 in sales in that organization. And that'll be about $140,000 in profit. Okay. And that's with ads to a VSL funnel, for those of you who are interested. If you want, I can make a video breaking down more of what we've done, because I haven't really made an update video about that business in a minute. So let me know if you'd like that. But with that business, you know, in June when I started that business, I said, I'm actually going to just take massive action. I'm not gonna look at what other people doing. I'm not gonna look at other funnels. I just know what I know about copywriting and marketing and advertising and sales and stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna put together a funnel. I'm gonna call every lead. I'm gonna talk to every lead. I'm gonna try and sell something to every single lead. And that's what I did, and I learned so much about the existing sales professionals marketplace. I'd never done any business to any degree in that industry. And so I said, okay, I'm going to get out, I'm actually going to learn, I'm actually going to do something instead of sitting back and plotting and planning, right? Had to grab my laptop charger there, but that's where I want to introduce you guys to the concept of action and iteration. Action and iteration. You know, what people tend to do, it's very natural for humans to want to feel like we're not wasting our time, to want to feel like we're actually working something that we know is going to work, etc. And the reality is, you don't know anything's going to work until you begin to take aggressive action within it. And then you're very quickly going to know what needs to change within that system for you to have the guaranteed success that you were holding back on taking action until you knew you'd have. So this is something that Sam Ovens really hammered on quite a bit back when I was in his programs. I was in his Quantum Mastermind group for I think 3 years. It's $36,000 a year mastermind. And one of the main things that I really gathered was like, don't just sit back and wait till the data looks good. Don't just sit back. Don't put out a little flyer, a little piece of content, see if the message hits. Don't be that guy. Take massive action, okay? And that might look like for you, like putting out the story post you've been waiting to put out, or doing the email blast you're wanting to do, or do a live webinar with your audience, or put out the series of content you're wanting to put out, or launch the funnel you want to launch, or whatever, and begin to gather qualitative and quantitative data. This isn't something that he taught me, this is something I gathered somewhere else, but the qualitative, quantitative data concept is, quantitative is what's the numbers? How many views am I getting on my YouTube videos? How much are we spending a day on advertising for the Kingdom Closer Academy, my other company? What's our cost per lead, our cost per booked call? What's our return on cash on our advertising? What's our refund rate on the program? Which, by the way, we've had almost 60 clients, 2 refunds. It's a phenomenal business we built over there. And so, these are the quantitative numbers. The qualitative numbers is when you actually speak to people, what they're actually saying, what the story that those numbers is telling you. The numbers are not the whole story. There's deeper things going on, but you're not going to gather meaningful data to conduct qualitative or quantitative analysis regarding until you begin to take massive action. Okay? And so this is just kind of a call for you to say, look, I'm kind of tired of sitting on the sidelines. The hard truth is, you don't know that anything's going to work. Nothing is guaranteed to work. The only thing that is guaranteed to work, in my assessment, having done now business for 6 years, at least at a decent level, since I was, I'd say 5, because when I was 19, I wasn't really doing anything that serious. I don't know. We'll call it 6 years to be safe. The only thing that really works is showing up and doing it, not knowing if it's going to work or not, and adjusting based on what it is that you're seeing quickly. And I'm talking day of. What's really nice about our industry, coaching, consulting, agency owners, these solopreneur types of businesses, sub 20 employees, this kind of a business, is you can make adjustments right there. You could do it right then. But so many people are waiting for some sort of a magic pill or a golden moment or something like that, some sort of sense of assurity that they know it's going to work, because they work on scarcity, because they're in a scarcity mindset. They need to know that it will work before they do anything. Life doesn't work that way. There are no 100% guarantees. The only thing that's guaranteed is that time will continue to pass. And if you don't begin the process of taking action on the things that are important to you, in the beginning to adjust your approach based on the feedback that you're getting, action and iteration. Take action and iterate based on the data that you're seeing, and feed back from that iteration back into your action what's necessary for your actions to be more profitable next time. This is why, having mentorship can be so helpful. This is why having people who are ahead of you can be so helpful. This is why I'm such a big believer in getting people who are ahead of you to help you know what it is that you need to change about your actions, what the data is telling you, so you're not making guesses, but you're making strong, knowledgeable changes based on what you know will work in the short run. And so anyway, that's this video. I mean, it's just a super short video, but I just wanted to rant on this a little bit because I just see it so commonly. I'm now up to the point where I've got about 20 active clients in the Kaizen Mastermind. I'm gonna cap it at about 25, as I normally do. I've had a couple of people that signed up earlier this year, feel like they got what they needed, and amazing. Still got some more seats. And I've just, there's a handful that come to mind, and it's nothing against them, because I understand, I've been there, but they're just not moving, and it's like I could teach and tell and explain, but at some point, what are you doing? Like, you got to do something with this information. You got to go and try. You got to get uncomfortable for like a week or two and just move something along, so that we can begin to see more results. So anyway, hopefully this has been a valuable piece of content for you, and just a little bit of a shake up. Just felt like making it. No real thought process. Thanks for watching.